That's being able to recognize an opportunity that's in front of you, take advantage of that opportunity, and if you miss, that's okay. It's not about failing, it's how you bounce back. And I think very clearly, you can see that someone like Kevin lives by that as well. So it is my pleasure. I'm not going to make you guys wait because I'm excited. I want to hear him speak. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary.
I'll tell you what I want to do. I'm a big believer in learning. I always try and learn something new every day if I can. But I want to talk about Shark Tank in this respect. Shark Tank's been on for a decade. It's an extremely long time in terms of television. Most shows die after 5 to 7 years. And I've always, been asked over and over again, why does it continue? We're going to our 11th season. And I always say to people, what are you watching when you watch Shark Tank? You're watching the pursuit of personal freedom. If you're successful in America, it doesn't matter how you start, it's not about the greed of money, it's about the pursuit of personal freedom, what it provides for you and your family later in life. And watching that process in men and women starting businesses is visceral, it's powerful, you can't stop watching. I'm there when we tape it, and I still watch it, because I love to see how it looks on television, and I get caught up in the stories like everybody else. But I've learned a lot watching all of these pitches, thousands of them. In season 4, I began to wonder, as tens of millions of people were watching Shark Tank each week, what's it worth to get on the show, even if you don't get a deal? What's it worth to have 10 million people learn about you, your story, see your product or service? That has to be worth something. But how is your measurement? And you always hear the sharks saying the same thing. What's proprietary about this product? What's unique about it? How do I protect my money? How do I put a moat around it? How do I get my money back? Does it have a patent? You're a lawyer. Does it have a patent? Does it have a patent? Does it have a patent? I know why she's saying that. She wants to protect her capital. And I thought to myself, what if I went the other way? What if I took a product that was a commodity, of which there are tens of thousands of companies in America doing the same thing, and you've never heard of one of them. Something that is everywhere, and we just pick one of them out of the morass and put it inside the Shark Tank ecosphere. What would happen to it? Could we measure it? And then along comes this deal called Wicked Good Cupcakes. Now, what is more of a commodity than a cupcake? Water, sugar, flour, butter. Anybody can make a cupcake right now within 5 miles of this theater. There's probably 5 commercial kitchens making cupcakes for tomorrow's coffee shops, and you've never heard of one of them. Now, the chance that this mother-daughter team was going to get funded on Shark Tank was 0. Nobody wants to invest in a cupcake. How do you protect her and get your money back? Awesome. I thought, this is the one. I'm going to invest in this thing and see what happens. Now, the reason I bring this up is we're both going to learn something today about what happened there. This deal forever changed how we as investors thought about Shark Tank's platform. It forever changed how other companies that came after it used the platform Shark Tank has become to acquire customers. It forever changed how other companies that watched Wicked Good Cupcake use social media, television, and streaming services. It changed everything. So what I want to do is roll a couple of minutes of tape to remind you about this deal and watch it. So a little blast from the past, and then I'm going to share the data with you and what happened. And we're both going to learn something incredible. This deal changed everything. So let's watch a couple of minutes of Wicked Good Cupcakes from Cohasset, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. And our company is Wicked Good Cupcakes. We're from Boston. Everything's wicked pizza here. Our cupcakes are baked fresh daily from scratch. No boxes or mixes are ever used. We're at a point where our company is growing too fast for us to keep up.
And we actually have a new twist on how to share our wicked good cupcakes with the nation. I'm Tracy Noonan, and this is my daughter Danielle. We own and operate Wicked Good Cupcakes.
We're here today seeking $75,000 in return for 20% equity in our company. We received tons of requests to ship our cupcakes nationwide. It was a big challenge though, trying to figure out how to keep them fresh and intact. And that's when we came up with the idea of shipping them in a jar.
Our cupcake jars are baked fresh daily. We layer them with homemade frosting and filling, ship them in gift boxes with spoons so they're ready to eat right out of the package.
Basically, they appeal to anyone with a mouth.
Well, ladies, let me say welcome to the Shark Tank.
Thank you.
I'm a fellow Bostonian. I live on Margaret Street. That is one damn good jar of cake.
The growth potential that we have discovered with these is phenomenal.
Tracy, it's not patented. Someone else could put a cake in a jar and ship it across the country.
Absolutely, they could.
So tell me what your plan is. How are you going to grow this business quickly?
We want to be the Ben and Jerry's of cupcakes in a
How
jar.
many days is the shelf life of a jar?
7 to 10.
7. So you
7
gotta
to 10.
bake it and sell it right away and ship it because it's going to be 2 days before it's in somebody's mouth, right?
Correct.
Have you talked to anybody about extending the shelf life? Because I know it's something that you can do.
Yeah. With preservatives. You know,
The problem, if you put preservatives in, it's the taste is wonderful.
Yeah.
that's exactly the question. Will it alter the taste?
What does each one cost to make, and what do you sell them for?
The 8-ounce jars cost $2.15 to make. We retail that for $5.95. The 16-ounce jar costs $3 to make, and we retail that for $8.95.
This product will never be in retail. It's always going to be an online. Somebody buys it, you bake it, you send it overnight to them.
Actually, we do have some wholesale clients. We have a coffee company up in Massachusetts.
What are you charging per jar?
We're charging her $3 a jar.
It's not enough margin for you.
Okay, but here's the thing. We're buying in such pathetic bulk right now. If we had
Tracy,
more
the
money,
best case scenario, I give you $75,000.
Yep.
Tell me what your margins will be.
Sure.
Right now it costs $2.15 to make it small and $3 for the big one.
Right.
How much can you reduce the cost?
I believe we can get the smaller jars down to $1.45.
Question I have is, on the mason jars, are there any alternative that would allow you to reduce your costs considerably?
I gotta say, the mason jars are a really big draw for people.
Exactly.
It's a homemade
pie.
exactly. It's a homemade product in a crafty container.
Well, you suggest homemade, right?
Right, exactly. And people do say that to us.
Come on, Mr. Wonderful.
You're going to make me offer to make it like it. I love the product. I hate the margins. I'll give you the $75,000. I don't want any of it. I want $1 for every jar.
$1?
Silence. Let me get the offer. I want $1 for every jar until I get my $75,000 back, which means you have to sell 75,000 jars. All right? And then I want it to drop to 50 cents in perpetuity. And you decide what to do with the business.
Can we just go down the hall for 1 second?
Don't trust me, you're not going to get a worse offer than that, so you probably should.
How much money does that leave them with if they give you $1?
Practically nothing. Hey, listen. This will give you incentive to figure the margin problem out.
50 cents for every jar? Yeah, we do
I like my deal.
Oh, that's the best line. Oh, man.
So Tracy and Danielle, welcome back.
Thank you.
4 sharks were out, and Mr. Wonderful made you an offer. He's giving you the $75,000, but he wants no equity. He wants $1 off every cupcake jar until he gets paid back, and then 50 cents from there on in until you can't bake anymore.
Don't do a deal that can cripple your business.
I agree with him. Don't do something that you'll regret afterwards.
Oh, Tracy, talk is so cheap.
Okay, we'd like to come back to you with 40 cents a jar in perpetuity.
$0.45 you have a deal. Get taken. Good morning. I'm getting very happy.
Mr. Wonderful will see his return sooner than he thinks, and we're just gonna do great.
Okay, so what happens to this? No one's ever heard of Wicked Good Cupcakes before. It airs at 9 o'clock at night. One of the biggest problems all these companies have that come on Shark Tank is trying to figure out, while they're on primetime television in front of millions of eyeballs, how many of those people will go to their website, because they never have enough capacity. It spikes. Millions of people go to sites. So they have to guess. They either have to buy more servers to get capacity, or they have to rent cloud services, which is very expensive for just a period of time. So most of the time they blow up, and they miss the orders. But not this time. This time was unique. It turned out that Tracy's husband worked for Fidelity in Back Bay, Boston, in the online trading services, where they had a massive server farm. So he went to his boss, his name is Scott Newton, and said, look, we're a local Massachusetts business, we're Cohasset. Would you help us out by lending us some capacity between 9 o'clock on the East Coast and 2 in the morning here in LA? Just in case people want to try our cupcakes. We have no idea, but we need capacity. We've got a single server sitting in our office. And they listened and said, you know what, we want to help you. We want to help an American entrepreneur and their family. We'll help you out. We'll do this. Well, that night, we nearly took down Fidelity. The story of this cupcake was so compelling to America that evening that they got tens of thousands of orders. You saw the sharks tasting it. You saw Cuban chowing the whole thing down. You're supposed to take 2 bites and put the cap back on, and he inhales the whole 660 calories. So people are watching that and saying, I wonder, that must be pretty good, because they can't taste it on TV. And they ordered it. Now here's where we start to learn something. In America, 80% of businesses that are started fail within 3 years for one singular reason. They're never able to get their customer acquisition costs below the lifetime value of the customer. A fancy way of saying they go bankrupt advertising. They try and acquire customers, they spend a ton of money, and they go out of business. 80% of the time. When Scott was looking at the data Saturday morning, because he's a statistician, he realized as he went through the thousands of orders that they were all new customers. He had acquired them for nothing. Nothing. Thousands of them. His cost of acquisition, 0. So he said to his wife and daughter, you two have to get back on television right now. And here's what they did. A couple of weeks later, here they are on a local station in Boston. 12,000 more customers. Customer acquisition costs, 0. Here they are, a few months after that, on ABC 2020, in what was called the Great Sales Challenge. Trucks selling cupcakes, and people were testing who could sell more. 36,000 new customers in 4 minutes. Customer acquisition cost, 0. Here they are with Kris Jenner here in LA. Now, what does Kris Jenner have to do with cupcakes? Nothing. She has nothing to do with cupcakes. 0. But she's on television. Thousands more customers. Customer acquisition cost, 0. Here they are a couple of years ago in Faneuil Hall, Boston, selling their 1 millionth cupcake. Ooh. We knew it was going to happen, so I flew down for that. This is a woman from Philadelphia. All the networks were there. 40,000 more customers. Customer acquisition cost, 0. What Scott was doing, and everybody was learning from this, was taking these videos, and it wasn't necessarily the broadcast that brought these customers in. They would chop it into 11 seconds, 29 seconds, 59 seconds, and post it on everything. Wedding blogs, cooking blogs, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, telling a story of this little cupcake company. They connected with customers in a way we've never seen before. As soon as you tried the cupcake the first time, they got your email address or your cell number, and they started communicating with you about the journey the mother and daughter was on. Storytelling in America is how businesses are being built up. Transparency, honesty, a connection with the customer that any one of you can do by using these platforms and doing it in a way that helps you acquire customers for free. Now you're starting to understand the secret sauce of Shark Tank. And now I was able to measure how powerful the platform really was. Because let's do a little math. 1 million jars times 45 cents from Mr. Wonderful. Yippee guy, yo hey. This is the highest IRR deal in Shark Tank history. I got my money back in 28 days.
Oh my God.
And they've been writing a check every month. It was also the first royalty deal, proving a structure like that can actually align interests with owners that don't want to sell on the equity. I'm incentivized to help them sell more cupcakes, and I do. My accountants think they're selling something else. This is an extraordinary success story. And those that have come afterward have followed what they have done on social, and so can you. Storytelling, honesty, transparency, and a focus on customer service with a great product. That's how it works. But there's more. When you're involved in venture investing like this, not everything works. I've had over 50 deals on Shark Tank. They've not, some have been wildly successful, others have failed. Each year, and I have a personal rule, if you can't make money after 3 years, you're not a business, you're a hobby. And I take you behind the barn and I shoot you. And the reason I do that is it has value as a tax deduction. So each year my accountants force what's called a going concern test. They look at all the companies and say which ones are going to fail if you don't fund it again, because you have that option in December to just pull the plug, and I do. I don't get emotionally involved in it anymore. It's the Darwinian nature of business. But I began to think after 7 years, how come some of these companies are so successful and return all their capital and then some, like a Wicked Good Cupcakes, and how come some fail? I have an incentive reason to want them all to work. I've invested in them. Can I share the data from the successful ones with the ones that are failing? Let's find out what the metrics are of the ones that are working. So we did. We did a little work, a little study. The data from this study is so incredible that I gathered all my companies together just over a year ago in South Beach, Miami, in a hotel called the Betsy, and I shared with them what I'm going to share with you right now. We're going to learn a lot from this. First of all, over that 10-year period, over 90% of my returns have come from the companies run by women. Why is that? I don't want to start gender warfare. I would give money to the goats when you get a return. But I want to know what they're doing. What are they doing that's so successful?
Make it more personal.
You start digging. You ever heard of that adage? If you want something done, give it to a busy mother. It's true. Time allocation skills really matter. And why did these companies get funded in the first place? What did they do that others didn't? It turns out that Shark Tank is in and on TV in 34 different countries. It's not called Shark Tank. It's called Dragon's Den. In England, in Canada, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, all over the place. All these different geographies, the entrepreneurs are all the same even though they speak a different language. It turns out that there are 3 common attributes in every pitch that's successful. Not some of the time, all of the time. And if it's the only thing you remember from my presentation today, I want it to be these 3. They will serve you well for the rest of your life. I consider them to be the definition of leadership. I don't care if you're a parent, a politician, an entrepreneur, a preacher, it doesn't matter. These 3 remain the same. What are they? Number 1, you have to be able to articulate the opportunity in 90 seconds or less. It turns out, if you don't know where you're going, nobody will follow you. Let's go back to the cupcakes. Hi, I'm from Massachusetts. I take cupcakes, I put them in a mason jar, I FedEx them to you. I get it. I understand right away what that idea is. If you're still rambling on 5 minutes later and I don't know what you want, you're never going to get it. That's a great idea. However, great ideas are a dime a dozen. What makes them special is the ability to execute on them. So number 2, which takes longer than 90 seconds, is what is it about you that you can actually execute on this opportunity? Did you work for a competitor? Have you tried it 3 times before and failed? Personally, I'd rather invest in an entrepreneur that's felt the sting of failure and is motivated by the fear of failing again. That's very powerful. But it doesn't matter. You have to prove what is it about you that when tied to the idea mitigates risk for the investor. Because a great idea with a great entrepreneurial team to execute on it mitigates risk and investors get interested. But there's one more. And this one is the killer. I've seen the oxygen sucked out of the room so fast. Imagine you beat out 100,000 applications to get on Shark Tank. There you are on the carpet. The sharks love your idea. They love the ability that you've proven that you can execute on it. And now this happens. You have to know your numbers. If you get the first 2 right and you don't know your numbers, you deserve to burn in hell in productivity, and I will put you there. You heard Tracy in that video. She knew to the penny what her small jars and large jars cost. She knew her problem was volume. She knew exactly her business model. You must know your numbers. You get all 3 of these right, your probability of getting funded goes right through the roof. Women are really good at knowing their numbers. They study their businesses. This is the first attribute of success. Now, once you get the check, that doesn't determine the outcome of the business. Now you've got to perform. Back to those companies that were doing so well. We talked about time allocation skill. Very important. How you spend your time and how your employees spend their time. The average size of my portfolio is only 26 people per company. They're small, they're private. The smallest is 5 million in sales a year, the largest $500 million. They're all over the map in all kinds of different sectors. They don't know each other. And I thought the next one is, this is sheer genius. Listen to this. We went back and looked at every company's estimates for sales every 90 days. What did they say they were going to sell, and what did they actually sell over a 7-year period? In the case of the companies run by men, they hit their targets 65% of the time, with an average growth rate of 30% targeted per year, which I thought was absolutely spectacular. Or so I thought. Then we looked at the companies run by women, and we found out they hit their targets 95% of the time. But they sandbagged. They brought their average growth rates down to 17%, almost half that of the men. So why would that make a difference? Why would that manifest itself in some kind of unique outcome that stabilized cash flows and had much higher returns? Because it did. Why? Here's why. And this is just brilliant. Let's use the sports analogy. New England Patriots, they might as well call the Super Bowl the Patriot Bowl. They're there every year. They set targets, they hit them every year, year after year after year. Do you think anybody on that team wants to be traded by Belichick? No. They want another chance to win another ring. By setting goals that you achieve, you change the culture of a business. And you can measure this, and we did. What we found out was, when the companies achieve their goals over 90% of the time, you can measure the employee turnover, and there is none. Now, the way it manifests itself in a better outcome is, when you're a 26-person business and a woman or man that runs accounting, or marketing, or procurement, or compliance leaves, it's very disruptive. You have to replace them. The team is broken. And very often it manifests itself in a slowdown of cash flow. But not when they all stick together. and they feel like they're part of a winning team. This is sheer brilliance. And as soon as I realized that, I said to the companies a year ago, February, look, these numbers don't lie. Everybody's going to drop their targets on revenue to where you hit them over 90% of the time. I don't care what the growth rate is, because we're private. The companies are private. The only people we're fooling when we set goals we don't achieve is ourselves. So set goals that you can achieve 90% of the time from this point forward. And in the last 13 months, staff turnover across the portfolio has dropped 38%, and free cash flow is up 11%. Now that's what we're talking about. The lesson here is set goals in life. I don't care what you do, that you can achieve. I'm talking about your family, your business, your charity, your church, whatever you do, and your culture will change. It will get stickier and it will work. This isn't some fancy academic research project. This is real data from real men and women struggling to succeed. This works. There's more. One of my CEOs, she's terrific, runs a big business, 500 million. She got up in front of the rest and said, you have to learn to shut up and listen. What did she mean by that? Here's what it is. When you start off in life young, and you're thinking about your career, or starting a business, or a project you want to work on, you have a burning desire to succeed. And great entrepreneurs are myopic in vision. They see where they're going to be in 5 years, and they don't listen to any naysayers. They just get their nose to the grindstone, they work 8 days a week, 25 hours a day, because they love what they're doing, and they don't let people tell them they can't get there. And that is a great asset until you get your first dollar in sales, and then it's your worst attribute and your worst nightmare, and it can be your downfall. Here's why. Everything in life changes all the time, including markets, including products, including what competitors are doing. And when you get your first dollar in sales in business, you have to start listening to 3 constituencies. Number 1, your customers. You don't have a business with customers. You have to listen to what they're saying, what they like, what they don't like. That's very important. Number 2, you have to listen to your employees. As the business is growing, they know where the problems are long before you do. And you have to listen to them. And lastly, you have to listen to who's ever financing the growth. The bank, investors, maybe your family, who knows? You need to listen to all 3, because the analogy is you need to have your ear to the rail to hear the train screaming down the track that's going to run you over. And when you've got enough of that data, you have to pivot so it misses you. Because you're smart enough to know that you don't know it all anymore, and you have to shut up and listen. I've learned this lesson by watching her. She says, you should spend 60% of your day listening. Shut your mouth and listen. And you will learn so much that you never learned before. Try it. It really works. I can tell the difference between an entrepreneur that's going to be successful and one that will fail when they hit 3 million in sales right away. If I'm an investor in their business, very often it's me that has to take them behind the bar and do what? Because I got to switch them out. They don't listen. They don't know how to listen. They don't know what they're going to do as the market changes. They were great founders, great startup, but they got to go because they can't manage a business because they can't shut up and listen. There's more. Let's go back to the cupcakes. This is a very important lesson. I've learned so much from this. People bought that cupcake watching the sharks eat it because they believed it was going to taste good, and it did. It arrived, they ate it, they thought it was spectacular. They made the assumption if they bought it again, it would be just as good. And it was, and they did. On that second purchase, something amazing was happening. That company was building a brand. It wasn't about Tracy and Danny anymore. It was about the fact that people that knew about Wicked Good Cupcakes, knew that when they tasted the product, it was delicious, and a brand was being built. I'll give you an example. The reason my hair looks so gorgeous is I use Johnson's Baby Shampoo, and I have for decades. It's the only shampoo I use. I carry it all around the world in 8-ounce containers. It's a brand. I have no idea who created it, and I don't care. That brand is worth billions of dollars. I'll never switch. When you build a brand, you're building something of long-term value. They did it with storytelling. You can do the same thing. That's the good news. Now here's the bad news. 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, if you bought a product or service right here in LA and you didn't like it, you had one choice. You called up 1-800 customer support, and you asked for your money back, or you want a replacement, or whatever it was that you wanted to be paid for. You talked to somebody on the phone. That's not what happens today. When a customer is unhappy with your product or service, they go online and they go nuts. And the amount of damage they do is extraordinary. It's a new cost in American business. I'll give you an example, a real-world example that everybody in this theater remembers. Who forgets that viral video of a man being beaten into a pulp, being dragged off an airline when he wouldn't get out of his seat? That cost that airline billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And they were forced to change their culture. Nearly cost the CEO their job. People watch everything now. And when they get motivated to rile against you, the bad news, and I have the numbers, 80% of the time you can't get them back. You cannot get them back as a customer. But you have to try. Here's why. When you're having that dialogue with them on a blog site or social media platform, you're creating a digital audit trail of your dialogue with that unhappy customer that everybody in the world can see. People are not stupid. They know you're trying your hardest to make it right, even though 80% of the time you will not get them back. And that matters to your existing customers, but even more important for the ones that are considering using your product or service. They see the company really trying to make it right. And it matters a lot. Now here's the dark side of this equation. 30% of the time, those people acting as customers and complaining about your product or service are not customers at all. They're your competitors. And they're using social media to steal share from you and do everything they can to drag you down. This happens every single day. It's a new cost in American business, up to 5% of sales in customer support and supporting the brand. You have to treat it like it's your life, because it is. I have 2 phones with me. I carry 2 phones all the time. This one with the blue case does nothing except provide alerts across every business I own. I'm invested in every CEO, every man or woman that's working within one of my organizations. Because what I've learned is when something goes viral, it's never good news. Nobody's going crazy about how great the chocolate flavor is of Wicked Good Cupcakes. They're taking on a concern they have, and we have to nip it in the bud. And the people that are best at doing this have grown up in social media. They're young. They're 22, 23, 24. The woman that runs all of my social media platforms is 27. She's very eclectic. She's a wrestler. She's a very unusual person. And the New York Stock Exchange tried to steal her from me because they can't find anybody as good as she is. She knows how this works, and she's able to move immediately to try and quell an alert we get. It's very important to understand the role of social media in everything you do in your life, which is why I tell my kids, every time you post something, remember it's there forever. Forever. Think about it. I don't care how much you're partying. Think about what you're putting out there, because you're never getting it back. Same thing for business. Let's talk about money, my favorite topic. I'm going to approach it from my point of view, from my own family experience, and give you some thoughts. You may not agree with me. However, food for thought. We're going to all have to face these issues. I don't care how much wealth you've accumulated. It doesn't matter. These rules will help you think about the future. I'm going to start because you saw that video. My mother came to my graduation of college, and she said to me that day, "Good news, Kevin, I'm coming to see you graduate. However, I have paid for you from birth to today. There are no more checks. My work is done. I said, what do you mean, Mom? She said, the dead bird under the nest never learned how to fly. I said, that's a great poem, but I need some cash. I don't have a job. I don't have a job. She said, I don't care. Go figure it out. And the reason I tell you this story is decades later when she passed away, I'm the older brother, 2 years older than my brother. I got a phone call from the executive of the state and said, look, you've got to come down here. Your mother died a very wealthy woman. I said, what? She had kept a secret account for both of her husbands her whole life. That she started funding when she was a young girl. She took 10% of her salary and put it away and invested in two things. She had 23 large cap dividend paying stocks on one side of this portfolio and a whole bunch of telco bonds. She used to tell my brother and I when we were young, people will shut their heat off before they'll cut their phone because they love talking. Now I know why she did that. This combination of telco bonds and large cap stocks outperformed everything over that 50-year period. I always wondered how she had money to pay for her education, take care of her family, give money to her brother when he needed it, all of that. So I did some research to share with you here. I don't care what period of the market you look at. This chart simply tells you how you make money investing in stocks. There's only two ways. Either the stock price goes up or it pays you a dividend. It turns out over a very long period of time that 70% of the returns in the stock market come from dividends, not capital appreciation. In other words, when you buy a stock that doesn't pay a dividend, you can never make money unless it goes up, and sometimes stocks go down and they go sideways. When you own profitable companies that pay you your portion of the profit each quarter, you make money regardless of the stock price. When I saw this, it really changed my mind. Almost everything I own now pays a dividend. And I don't pick stocks. I simply use exchange-traded funds. You can do all this. I'm going to show you a bunch of other rules I've learned to live by, and you can do it all with exchange-traded funds. They're cheap, they're transparent, and they're very tax efficient. And there's lots of them to use. You can do it online if you don't want to have an advisor to save even more. Never let a stock become more than 5% of your portfolio or your net worth. The people that got blown up in the dot-com bubble let a few stocks become a huge part of their net worth, and when they corrected, they got killed. Same along this idea of diversity being the only free lunch in investing, because it is, you have to have that discipline. That means if you owned a stock, as I did in the last few years, like Boeing, it grows, it pays a dividend. I kept having to sell it every quarter to keep it at 5% of the portfolio. By the time we got to the blow-up of recent times, I got my entire cost base out of the stock. I own Boeing at a zero cost base now because I kept selling it as it kept going up. And I still own it because I'm sure they'll fix these problems one day. But the point is, stocks don't just go up forever. They have corrections, like Apple, like Boeing. And if you own them and you keep selling them down to 5%, you'll get all your money out very often before they have their big correction. Number two, there's 11 sectors in the stock market now. We just added real estate in the last couple of years. Never let any sector become more than 20% of your portfolio. Last year, for example, energy was terrible. This year, it's one of the top performing sectors. You want to diversify your holdings across all the sectors. You can do that with ETFs as well if you wish. The point is diversification works. Number three, this is my mother's rule. Never own a position that doesn't pay you something while you're waiting. Interest on a bond or a dividend on a stock. I look at my portfolio like a chicken on a spit dripping cash. And I need that cash because I have a very expensive wife. She likes to renovate everything we own. I'm okay with that, but you can't touch the principal because I don't know how long we're going to last, neither do you. So you have to adjust your lifestyle to what you earn from your portfolios, whatever that might be. I love fixed income. I love real estate that produces income. Bonds produce about 3% these days. It's very boring. They're very stable. Markets going up. It's near the new highs again. You don't know what happens next. That's why you want diversification. And as you age, past 40, you should start to position yourself about preservation of wealth, not performance. I don't care if I beat the stock market. I just want to make sure I keep what I have. So I'm very conservative and I'm very boring about how I put money to work. I want it to work for me. That means I don't invest in my cousin's restaurant. I'm not interested in a disco or any of that stuff. I don't invest in plays. I don't invest in movies. Not that they're bad, but they're not about preservation. They're about risk. I don't like risk. I like companies that are profitable, that make money, that send me a check. I'm really boring when it comes to risk. I like boring. And lastly, and this one is going to happen to everybody in this room, even though you don't want it to. In life, poo-poo happens. You don't know when. Catastrophic illness, car crash, business fails, something happens somewhere. It's going to happen. You need cash. You need it that night. It's best to keep it by 10%. I want to end talking about what I started with. Entrepreneurship is not about the grade of money, it's about the pursuit of personal freedom. And when I had my big liquidity event, 9 of us owned the learning company. We sold it for $4.2 billion. It was in Cambridge. We went across the river and I set up a generational skipping trust for my family. It's designed to provide for my children from birth to last day of college, and then they get nothing. Now, if they have children after I'm gone, it takes care of them from birth to last day of college, and then they get nothing, and on and on and on. And I went home that day when my kids were 4 and 6, and I explained the structure to them. Yeah, exactly. However, years later, when my son was doing very poorly in grade 10, and I mean really poorly, he came up to me and he said, "Dad, can you walk me through that trust structure again?" I said, "Sure, Trevor, here's how it works. Mom and I are going out for dinner tonight. If we get run over by a bus, you don't have to worry. It's going to pay until you finish high school, because it doesn't look like you have to worry about college." And then he said, "Then what happens?" And I said, "Then you get nothing. The dead bird under the nest never learned how to fly." And he said, "That sucks." Now, I don't know if it was that moment or that night that he saw the darkness of the abyss he was facing and the uncertainty of his future. But I have a personal feeling that everybody in here has to deal with in their own family. Entitlement in a family is a disease.
Yep.
When you de-risk someone's life, you curse them. They'll never launch. They have no incentive to. They won't spend their time thinking about it. The outcome can be horrible. It doesn't mean you can't care for your kids, but to guarantee they have no risk in life is a very bad thing. Today, that son is in third year electrical engineering, and the probability he gets a job is very high. And I told him, if you want to start a business, you probably don't want me as an investor because I want a royalty. The point is, he's using the opportunity, and I think that's a good thing, and it's worked itself out. Now, my definition of freedom is very simple. I travel all week, and I love what I do. I pursue the things that matter to me. I'm here because I want to be here. I love to talk about this with other people. It's a very normal topic, I think. It makes everybody work harder to make their future better. That's the whole point. But on weekends, I want to see my family, so I say to them, here's the deal. Pick a city, anywhere on earth, I don't care where. I'll fly all the friends, the boyfriends, the girlfriends, anybody you want to bring, we'll go there from Friday to Monday morning and we'll scatter again. Anywhere you want to go. I deserve that. I worked hard for it. And I do. And it's a way I can spend quality time with my family. Very often, I will fly to Geneva to see my stepfather, George. And the aforementioned son, Trevor, in engineering, which is a tough course, will come with me just for the weekend. We'll leave on a Friday night, land Saturday morning, take the train to his town, go for dinner Saturday, fly back Sunday morning. Sounds crazy. We've done it 30 times, maybe more. I'll never forget recently. We're getting on that flight, and Trevor says to me, "Dad, why is it that every time we get on this plane to Geneva, long flight, 7 hours, I have to take a left and go sit in the back, and you take a right, and they give you a bag, and it's got a giant screen TV, and they roll a roast beef by you, and you drink French wines all night. And I'm back at 69D. And I said, Trevor, you don't have any money. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed myself. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to sign this guitar. It was already a wonderful guitar, but it's about to get a lot more wonderful. And somebody in here is going to win this puppy.